Have you ever tried to plant a seed of mango in your backyard, and you kept on watering it every day, and at the end you received no results? Or if you've tried in your childhood just put a seed of peaches or so in some dust, and you tried hard but there was no result. Some seeds, when you try to plant them the wrong way, they produce no result. And that's what the Lord was saying today in the parable that he said to his disciples and to us, that there are seeds whom you plant, such seeds will produce no results, no fruits. And the Lord meant to say this parable or this symbolic story in order to show us that some people, they don't produce no fruits when they receive the word of God. And since it's a symbolic story, each item in the story symbolizes something else, like the seed that the Lord talked about in the parable of today. It's a symbol of the word of God. And as we all know, the sower is God himself. And the different kinds of soils that the Lord described are different kinds of people and different hearts according to the reception to the word of God. And then comes the fruits. And basically, the fruits of the word of God is what does it do in you? The change that the word of God does in your life and in mine. If you receive the word of God, if you listen to the word of God and your life does not change, this means that you have no fruits. This means that you're planting the wrong way. This means that the seed that you put in a way that it will not produce no fruits at the end. And the Lord continued and explained how some people produce no fruits, how some people see no change in their lives, although they come to church, although they might hear about the word of God. You might hear about that God, when you allow him in your life, you're going to be changed, you're going to be a different person, all the weaknesses of yours are going to be different, yet many people, they don't change. And the Lord explained here and said, some of us would receive the seed or the word of God and wouldn't just put it inside their heart at all. They would listen to a sermon or read the Bible as if they're reading newspapers or so. So they have no intention to put such seed in their heart in order for it to grow. And if this is your case, if you just take the sermon time to get some rest and sleep, if you don't care much about getting the word of God into your life, then do not expect no much fruits. Do not expect change in your life. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and during the time of Moses, received the word of God through Moses the prophet and Aaron. Yet he had such closed ears and closed heart. He didn't want to hear it. He said to them, I don't like to hear what you're saying. And it ended up that he died in his sins. He died in his pride and his arrogance. And this could be the case of someone who would just ignore the word of God altogether and would refuse to receive it deep into his heart. If this is my case or yours, we need to get the word inside our hearts. Or else Satan would just come and snatch the word of God from our lives, and our lives will never be changed. We need to humble ourselves to the word of God and start to say, well, that's for me. Such sermon is for me. Such gospel that was read and now is read for me. The words of God that I read in the Bible every day, it's directed to me. It's not to everyone else. It's not to the sinners and the bad people. It's directed to you. We need to learn to study the Bible and to listen to the Word of God in a careful way, that such word could come and dwell inside our hearts. Without having such atmosphere of receiving the Word of God, do not expect change. Do not expect no fruits of the Word of God inside in your life. The other thing the Lord has mentioned here in the parable of the sower and the seeds, he said that some people do not get the Word very deep in their hearts. They're just so shallow. They're like a shallow soil in regards to planting a seed. And the shallow soil could grow a little bit of a green plant, but it will never produce fruits because it's so shallow to produce fruits. Cactus pears is one of the most sweet fruits that you might find. Cactus pears are planted. They grow. In fact, no one plants them anyways, but they grow in deserts. And if you look at the cactus pears plant, you'll find that the whole atmosphere is so hot, so dry. There is no way that a plant would grow in here. But they studied the cactus pears and they found out that the cactus pear, they grow their roots very deep in the desert soil, very deep, to an extent of around 45 feet or so down there in the soil. And that's how the cactus can produce fruits that's called cactus pears. If you are to produce fruits for God, if you are to change, if you are to get the Word of God to affect you, you need to grow deep roots of the Word of God inside your heart. Unless such deep roots are there, don't expect no fruits. Shallow relationship with the Word of God, shallow relationship with God altogether would collapse right away once it's exposed to tribulations, once exposed to hardships, once exposed to tightness and challenges of this world. It's going to collapse for sure. So you wouldn't expect no change. If this is your case or mine, we need to be we need to get deep. We need to get the Word deep inside our hearts. We need to start to be doers of the Word, not only hearers of the Word. Many people, they hear the Word and they may even be able to teach it to others, yet they don't do it. They don't apply it to their lives. They are so shallow in regards to applying the Word of God into their lives. They're not serious enough for the Word of God to settle into their hearts and to make the change in their action and their behaviors. If this is your case, what we need to do is we need to just keep it in sight. We need to put it deep. Don't be satisfied with a shallow relationship with God. Do not be satisfied with reading the Bible once every week or 2 weeks, or just attending a sermon every Sunday. That's not enough. That's shallow, and shallow does not produce fruits. And the third reason the Lord said here in the parable of the sower and the seeds on how we do not produce fruits, how we do not change, although being exposed to receiving the Word of God. The Lord said that there are thorns who can choke the plant and wouldn't allow it to produce fruits. And such thorns the Lord mentioned, He explained and said, these are the cares and the riches and the pleasures of this world. There are many things in this world. If we get so concerned about them, the Word of God is going to be choked in our hearts, and we'll see no change because of being so concerned about the world and what is in the world. Demas, the disciple of St. Paul, was one of his beloved disciples, yet he loved the present world. He was so concerned about the things of this world. Maybe he was concerned about money, he was concerned about his future, he was thinking of paying his mortgage, or being so concerned about the education of his children, or being so concerned about going out on trips every week, and so like a week every month or so. If you are so concerned like Demas, what happened with Demas, although he was hearing the Word of God right from St. Paul, the preacher of the whole world, Demas left because he loved the present world. And the same thing happened to the young rich man. The young rich man, he was called by the Lord himself. The Lord told him, come and follow me. I can see a good thing in you. Yet, because of his love to money, he left. He couldn't follow the word of God. And that's because simply he was so concerned about what is in the world. He was so concerned about his money. If this is my case, I may need to rearrange my priorities and deal right with the cares and concerns of this world. This is not going to stay with you long, I assure you. Once you leave this body, all such cares that you live in now, all your worries about your debts, all your worries about your job, your family issue that you have with your wife, all such things are going to leave with the body in here. While your soul is going to go up to heaven, and God is going to ask you, how come you allowed all such cares of the world to take the word of God from you and to cause you not to be fruitful, to cause you not to change because of the world, of the word that I sent to you in order for you to be changed. In fact, if we are to change, if we are to produce fruits to the word of God, we need to learn the parable of the sower and the seed. We need to receive the word of God, to open the ears of our hearts and to be serious about studying the Bible. We need also not only to study the Bible, but to grow it very deep inside our hearts in a way that it would reflect actions, it would change our behavior. And we need, as the Lord told us, we need to deal right with the hindrances that would cause the word of God not to produce no fruits in our lives,